think it was last week, we had the culmination of our Teen Biz Challenge. And we had, it was 15 different young people who actually went through the entire process of participating in the Teen Biz Challenge. This summer, what I did was raise some dollars for young people who were interested in going into business or had projects that they were working on that they thought were business worthy. And so we work with our partners, the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, that's NIFTY, with young people, and help them to go through a 5-week, I think it was business training camp. And so there they learned how to develop their business plans, and they met daily at Frederick Douglass High School, and they prepared their pitches. And so we had 5 different business groups and philanthropic individuals who wanted to assist us in this particular effort. And we ended up with 9 winners. Ms. Foreman, who Innovative Touch, y'all can raise your hands when we talk about you. Vince Green, Vinny's Vanilla, he's in 2 businesses actually. Sadie M. Jackson, Crown Your Inspiration. And Samira Jones, The Trenches to the Throne. And Gregory Holmes, Ice Bike Creams, who's also a partner on another project. And so let's give them a round of applause. These are our winners. They actually got about $5,000 invested into their, I think 2 got $2,500, and the most of them got $5,000 invested in their business. And one individual, actually, there were a couple who were fought over by the various entrepreneurs who they presented to as participants. We have Kevin Johnson, who's here from the commercial group, was one of the investors in this effort. And then Steve Legacy of Nefty is also here. But I want to thank everybody who participated in making this effort possible. We're already prepared for our next year's Teen Biz Challenge. We've got investors and business people in the community excited about this effort. And so maybe we'll have some of them share their business ideas. I can't say that I had a favorite, but the ice cream was really good. And there was a lot of competition for the ice bike cream business. So you all have any questions? Anybody want to share?
Good afternoon.
State your name.
Vincent, V-I-N-C-E-N-T, Green as in the color, G-R-E-E-N.
And what is your business?
Who's your partner?
I have 2 businesses. One business is Vinny Vanilla, and my second business is me and my partner Greg, Ice Bike Creams, where we'll be featuring local ice cream, basically in all the tourist populated area or anywhere we're available to be.
Can y'all get some a suggestion as to one of the spots from one of your investors?
Yes, he gave us the spot of Howard and Pratt Street, downtown.
That's basically a tourist attraction where a lot of Oriole fans and Ravens fans this mainly will be located at.
And so you got $5,000 startup money to do this business, and how long are you going to run it?
As long as possible. We wanted to take it from the ground up. So just starting off, we would just be able to sell it during the summer times in that populated area, and then eventually to spread out and to be able to be everywhere from Ocean City to the Inner Harbor to where the Ravens, Oriole stadiums, and so on.
And why should people buy your ice cream? What's good about it?
It's good. Because the mayor tasted it. She said it's great, and it's all the more reason why everybody should want some.
That's what she said. And then and also we're a natural local company. We're partners with Taharka Brothers, which is one of the best ice cream in Baltimore since 2010. I'm also one of the Taharka Brothers. I've been working with that company for the past 8 years. We sell some amazing flavors such as honey graham, salty caramel.
Really good. Honey graham's my favorite.
And we sell our ice cream to a lot of different scoop shops and restaurants and colleges across the DMV. We're in Georgetown University, Johns Hopkins. We're in Busboys and Poets, Phillips, scoop shops, Jupiter's, Best of Luck down in Inner Harbor, and so on. So basically we'll have all the best flavors on a bike, so we'll be mobile and able to receive and give ice cream to wherever we decide to make our location.
Great.
All right.
Why get into business?
Why not to get in business? I mean, it gives you a platform. It's not you had to be controlled by capitalism and you determine how far you want to, how you decide to live your life. So I can take my expectations as far as I wanted to make myself go.
And how old are you guys?
I am 17 years old.
17?
And I'm 21.
21, all right.
Okay.
And what high school did you guys go?
I go to Baltimore School for the Arts.
And I graduated from Connections Leadership Academy.
Great.
Are you in college now, or have you just decided to kind of be an entrepreneur?
When I attended CCBC for business management, I kind of dropped my classes because it wasn't during that time frame. It wasn't a main focus, but I do plan on attending Cotton University in the spring just so I can expand my education in marketing and business.
Okay, let's hear from some of the females over here. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Sade Jackson,
Can you spell it, please?
SADE.
I did.
And to tell us about your business.
So my business is called Kanye Inspiration. It's a t-shirt business, and we basically create inspirational t-shirts. But along with that, we also bring upon others' ideas. I actually have a few projects that I'm working on right now.
Oh, let me just mention too, most of these businesses were featured at AFRAN Festival, and all of them made money, am I correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And what kind of t-shirts do you sell, and where do you sell them?
Well, right now I'm selling them from home, so I don't have a location where I'm selling them right now. And the t-shirts that I sell are just like, inspirational t-shirts, not just like regular t-shirts where you just put a picture on there or you go to a vendor and get it set up.
Can people buy them online, or how do people?
I'm actually working on a website right now, and so my website should be up between 2 to 3 weeks because I have people alongside me helping me to get it together. So people can buy them online, but I actually plan to sell them online very soon.
Did you design all of them yourself?
Yes.
Do you have a bestseller, or favorite, the one that people like to buy?
My best seller is actually it's a colored girl face, and it has like an afro on one side and then hair down on the other side, and it says, no matter what shade of beauty you are, you're still beautiful. And so that was my best seller. I actually ran out of all those shirts when I was at AFRAM, so I got a learning experience of that's what I need to add more onto.
Build up the inventory on that.
Anybody else want to share? Come here.
Good morning. My name is Janiyah Foreman, Janiya. So I'm a visual artist, and my business name is Innovative Touch. We specialize in custom paintings.
And you also at AFRAM, how did that go for you?
Oh, it was a really good experience. It was like I didn't expect as many paintings to be sold as much as they were. The ones that I didn't think were really good were really the ones that really sold. So it was a really good success.
And what kind of artwork is it?
It varies. The one that was a very shocker for me that was sold, it was a guy and his head was in a cloud. So it was a small, like 12 by 12 inch canvas, and I sold it.
What's been the biggest challenge getting your company up off the ground?
I would say the biggest challenge was just trying to gain more customers, just to get out there in the social media platforms, to get my name out there. And my business is mostly expanded by word of mouth. So I really just want to focus on getting it out there on like social media platforms and creating a website.
And what will you use? You got $5,000 as well.
Yes.
What will you use that money for?
I would use the money to buy more materials such as paint, brushes, easel, and maybe a electronic device like a laptop or iPad, something like that, just to keep up with like emails and business inquiries and things like that.
And how old are you?
15.
Anybody else?
That's great.
Thank you.
And Shadi, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Shadi, Friday's 15th.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I'm 16.
16th. Sad birthday.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Samira Jones, and that's Samierra, last name Jones. And I am the CEO of From the Trenches to the Throne, where we pretty much are a customer service platform for small businesses and startups. Just pretty much making them aware of how important it is to have excellent customer service in order to bring your customer back.
How old are you?
21. I'm 21.
Okay, you passed
Yes.
the Teen Biz Challenge, but it's okay.
And I am also a business management major at Coppin State University.
And what, were you at Akron also?
I was not at AFRAM. Yeah.
Where have you been, where, is your business located somewhere or is it online?
So it's not online. I'm actually working out of my home. I currently do business for Sterling Optical in Temple Hills, Maryland, where I run her social media page and also create standards for her employees to follow when interacting with the customer.
That's great.
Yep,
Okay,
that's it.
all right. Okay, that's the Teen Biz Challenge. Did you want to share anything in this process since you were one of the judges?
Hi, my name is Kevin Johnston. I'm the CEO of the commercial group, and I just want to thank the mayor. You know, the mayor is just the best, and you know she's the one that no.
I didn't ask anything. Go ahead, you can say it again.
The mayor is the best, but no, seriously, she's the one that reached out to the business community and asked us to participate and get involved. And myself, along with J.P. Grant, you know, Larry Jennings. What's critical about this is they will also have mentors, and some of the best mentors in the city, if I don't say so myself, to really help them be successful, to help mold and craft and guide them along the way, so that this $5,000 investment, you know, really goes a long way in helping them learn entrepreneurship. So I just thank the mayor so much.
Thank you. It's exciting.
And so Grant Capital Management, they donated the $5,000 to each.
They, well, we raised close to about 200, I think it was at least $100,000, Grant Capital Management, Interiors, some philanthropic groups and organizations. I just reached out and said, I need you all to help me to do this, and people pitched in. It's the same thing with the Squeegee Corps, and you'll hear more about that going down the road. It didn't just happen by itself. It happened because I reached out to business people in the community and said, can you help me get these projects started? And in fact, you'll probably hear maybe next week, we've got 14 churches now wanting to participate in Squeegee Corps. Because what I said to them is that when school starts, we want our young people in school, but at the same time, we need them to be able to make money, you know, after school, after they get back to school, because many of these young people who are standing on the corners are there because they need to make money. I ran into a young man last night about 9 o'clock at night, and interesting enough, you know, I rolled down the window. I said, you need to be in Squeegee Corps. He says, yeah, well, when's the next meeting? And the word is getting out, thanks to you all in the media, and Jane and your tweet, I think has really helped us a lot. I was at the Housing Authority this weekend, and they were putting up a new playground for the young people, and these 4 young guys walk over to me and he says, so hey, about that Squeegee Corps thing, what do we need to do? And so that says to me that the word is getting out, that they're learning that many of these young people will stand on the corner all day and maybe they'll make $20. I don't know. We know that when there's an organized effort and a support system behind them, you know, just the Squeegee Corps that we popped up last week on the cobblestones, those 6 or 7 young people that were there got in just tips $675. I mean, that's a lot. And then what I've said to the churches is, and you'll hear from them, is that on Sundays we'd like to have you all engaged in this effort, and that the young people, if we send you 5 young people to wash cars, they need to be able to watch 25 to 50 cars and then perhaps attend a service, because this is really about developing the whole person. And I think that what said just a few minutes ago is this is also about mentoring. These young people get a mentor around them. And it's the same thing with the Squeegee Corps. My goal is to get 100 young people off of the corners every year and to engage them and to provide mentorship for them, and at the same time to be able to push them forward, whether it is making sure that they finish high school. And just like in the Teen Biz Challenge, we found in Squeegee Corps a young lady who's 21 years of age. And I said, so what are you trying to do? She finished high school and she hasn't been able to find a job. So, well, what do you want to do? She says, I want to work with the homeless. Okay, so we've got an interview with Human Services, with the police department's hot team, because that's what they do. And we're working with her to get her resume together, because we know there are people out there that just don't know how to maneuver, and that's part of our responsibility. So again, let me thank you, Kevin, and did you want to say something? I forgot. Nifty?
We'll let Steve speak on
Steve,
behalf of Nifty.
on Nifty, on behalf of Nifty. And as you can tell, everybody is wearing, I think you all have them as well, I don't see anybody with theirs on, those stunning Baltimore City pins, all their hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Legacy, Legacy, and I'm the director for the Baltimore-Washington region for the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. And I just want to say a huge thank you to the mayor, to her staff, to all of our partners, many of whom couldn't join us today, but the sponsorship of these young people and the fact that they'll be able to grow these businesses with support and mentorship means the world to all of us as an organization. And also to Darlene Ajayi, my manager of programs, who does a fantastic job preparing these students. It's about learning entrepreneurship, but it's about financial literacy. It's about development of a business plan. It's about thinking about your future in terms of what's possible instead of the limitations. So again, and thank you to the students for such a fantastic job, and to their parents for supporting their efforts the entire way. Thank you.
So, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let me, while I'm standing here, remind everybody that the trial period for the, I believe it is the red light cameras, is over. It ended July 31st. So my message to everybody is drive slow, drive slow, drive slow. There are 8 red light cameras in operation. And they're at these particular locations. For those who don't know, Ricestown Road, southbound at Patterson Avenue. I don't know if we should be telling people where they are, but yeah, I guess it's okay. East North Avenue, westbound at North and Howard. South Monroe Street, northbound at Washington Boulevard. And southbound at Washington Boulevard, north and southbound. Bel Air Road, southbound at Erdman Avenue. And eastbound at Bel Air Road and Pulaski Highway, eastbound at North Point, and North Calvert Street, northbound at East Baltimore Street. These cameras are in operation 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And again, you can tell that these are in very high volume areas. And so again, I just want to caution the public to please drive slow, drive safely through our city. It's not a raceway. We've had too many accidents. We've had too many people running red lights. And so we look forward to the successful operation of our red light camera program.
Madam Mayor, oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't know if you were finished. I apologize.
I'm finished that. I'm done with that.
Has there been any, I know there was some glitch with some
The other-
double ticketing.
yeah, that
Was
was
there
on.
any other issue with,
So far, so good. So far, so good.
So with the errors that happened, once the speed camera started issuing tickets, why should the people of Baltimore have confidence that when the red light cameras start ticketing people, those cameras are going to accurately find people?
Well, again, I think that we are technologically more savvy today than we have been. I think it was Baltimore City. It was our folks who caught the problem that just occurred, and we took care of it. And so, you know, I ask the public to continue to have confidence in our ability to move the city forward.
Mayor, I'd like to ask about the Confederate monuments.
Yes.
The task force, who is on it?
Colin Talbert is the chair of the task force. They're meeting now. Jackson Gilman, Forland Director of the Department of General Services, Historic Properties, is also on it. Bill Gilmore, the Executive Director of the Baltimore Office of Promotion and Arts, is also on it. Eric Holcomb, Executive Director of the Commission on Historic and Architectural Preservation, is on it. And We are making sure that we are advised by our city's law department in terms of the actions that we take. You know, we've got several issues to address, and including where they ultimately will end up. The committee has gotten several inquiries in reference to wanting the statues. I've gotten a call from a lady who wants to buy them. I haven't responded back to her. I'm turning that over to the committee. We've also had some inquiries in reference to how the statue should be, you know, the platforms that were left, what they should look like. There's a national artist that's engaged. We've got Steve Ziegler and another task force looking at that. You know, how do we, you know, repurpose the stands that they, the platforms that they stood on. So I'm not sure how quickly all of this takes place. There are a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross, but I am very confident in the group of folks that we put together that are working on this. And there is a website, I believe, where people who want to make suggestions about where they would like to see them, that they can take advantage of. What is that website?
It's on BOGA's website.
It's on the Baltimore Office of Promotion of Arts website.
And is the task force meetings public? Can people attend them to see what they're talking about?
Yeah, I think that when there will be public meetings around this as well, because they want to get some input from folks in reference to, you know, how they want to see us move forward on these. The committee, you can also submit recommendations to the committee before the end of the year. Monuments review at baltimorecity.gov is where they can submit any ideas or suggestions. Monuments review at baltimorecity.gov.
And then do we know how much Whiting Turner was paid to take them down?
I'm waiting for their, what do you think they should, how much should we pay them?
Well, I don't know if they want to donate it for free or what.
Anybody have any idea? We know what it, we know. Well, we know what it cost in New Orleans. I think it was almost $2 million, right? Right. Mm-hmm. I think you'll see it before the Board of Estimates, less than 20,000.
Less than 20,000.
For all four.
Can you tell us anything about the woman who called?
Gee. Only thing I haven't talked to her. I know it's a New York phone number. It was a 212 area code. Of course, everybody has different area codes. She could be living next door to me for all I know. But we will call her. We'll call her back. We'll give it to the committee.
So that's that individual.
Somebody also asked if they could put them on their Eastern Shore property.
Besides individual, has there been any like museums or grave sites or anything like that?
There has been, and again, I have not gotten a report from the committee, that there has been at least one cemetery that has inquired about them. I can tell you the Lee Jackson one is so huge that transporting that is going to be very major.
And the monuments review, is that going to encompass like all of the monuments in this city?
Yes. All the monuments in the city?
Yeah, like what's the scope? Is it just going to be?
Right now we're focused on these. We're focused on the Confederate.
Okay, so they will only focus on the pedestals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know that the Jackson Lee Monument, it still is a monument.
Yes, it is.
Because it has inscription on it
Exactly.
all the way around.
Mhm.
Is that going to?
You're talking about the base. Well, there's a whole conversation. Well, part of what this committee will be doing is looking at how we repurpose those bases. There is a national artist, and I wish I had his name, that is interested in doing all of those bases around the nation and looking at what they should look like. Because that, too, to me, is a part of it. So, yes, we're looking at how the bases are repurposed as well. We've gotten some great suggestions in terms of what should replace some of those monuments as well.
How many total calls have you got from people who want to take the monuments or accept them?
Well, all the calls aren't coming into me, so as soon as I get my report, I'll be able to share that information with you.
Are you getting any flack for it?
No, other than some of the editorial comments and so forth, no.
If I could ask on another topic, the fire department.
How long I took? I think I've been here 9 months, but go ahead.
The fire department recently had a policy change where they went from using a box system to dispatch the fire engines to a GPS system. And on Friday night, there was an issue where the engine that was out of service went back into service and responded to a call, and they were told not to respond. I understand that policy has been updated to allow for district commanders to make exceptions when it makes a logical sense to do so. What do you think about how the fire department is responding to calls and this changeover to this new system?
Well, you know, technology certainly has its challenges, but at the same time, I think that ultimately it improves the response time, and that's what we want. We want to make sure that we're improving response time, but you know, these things don't happen overnight, and everybody needs to be trained on the process, and there needs to be that autonomy to be able to make decisions in situations like that.
Do you have any concerns that this engine was turned away over the weekend?
Well, let me just say that I'm not fully aware of all that took place over the weekend, but I do know that it's been corrected and that we're moving forward.
Madam Mayor, the city and the Department of Justice asked for an extension in terms of recommending a monitor to the court for the consent decree. Why was that delay filed by the city?
Well, let me just say that we have some concerns. We really do want to make sure that whoever is selected, and we don't make that decision. And what the judge has made it perfectly clear to us is that we have no decision in that it is purely his decision. And we want to make sure that all of the comments by the public have been heard. People have submitted information to the courts, and the Department of Justice has its opinion as to who should be monitoring the Baltimore City Police Department. And while you know there's no decision made at this time, what I want us to make sure, and I hope that I've asked for conversations with the judge, but at this particular point in time, that conversation is not one that he's willing to entertain, and the Department of Justice wants to make their recommendation. But Baltimore, to me, is in a unique situation that we can get this right, that we can make sure that we don't have people who are monitors who look at this as though it's just a job, or that you're professional monitors around the country. We want a team in here that's going to focus on Baltimore. So I think we've made those expressions, and I think they are hopefully being considered, and perhaps that's part of the reason for slowing this just a little bit.
So is there a big disagreement between the city and the DOJ in terms of who to recommend for the monitor?
Well, I'm not sure whether there's disagreement. I don't even know that there's collaboration. I think all of us had our own independent opinions based on what we were able to see, and I think the public certainly has made its choices, I would suspect, based on what they saw and heard. So I know that they're still in the process of meeting, and so I will hear from both the department. I know I'll hear from my lawyers. Our lawyers represent the city's view.
And then about yesterday's meeting, the judges didn't attend. You had some comments saying that you would like them to have been there.
Sure.
Do you think that they should explain themselves to the public about why they're sentencing the way they are?
Well, let me just say this. I'm not a judge, but what I do know is that we have too many violent repeat offenders on the streets of our city. I think we're all, if we come to no conclusion, we should have all at least come to that conclusion, that when people offend 9 to 11 times, that is too many times to be continuing to create this kind of dangerous situation on our streets. And as I said yesterday, and I'll repeat it again, if anyone saw the video of the man who had 12 children get shot, didn't even turn and look at that individual, just shot him, because I saw the video, shot him in his head, the blood flowed, and they ran out of the door, but we left 12 children without a father, someone who was working and managing his business, and when this person was arrested, they had also killed in April. I don't know how many shootings that this particular person has portrayed on the streets of our city. All I know it is too many times, and I know that we want to help individuals when they go through the criminal justice system and they return to our communities. We want them to be successful. We want them to be productive members of our communities, but repeat offenders are raising havoc on our city, and it's just too much.
Have you had conversations with the police commissioner about the quality of investigations. Because oftentimes what happens is you get a shaky case, and it's better to try to, get what you can out of it, as opposed to risking, losing altogether at trial.
Okay.
And, I mean, that's been going on.
Yeah, I think there are a couple issues here, Jane. When I look at, for example, the cases that we know that we've taken to trial, and we've gotten convictions, that's concerning to me. 60% conviction, but yet you'll get to the sentencing phase, and you drop all but a small portion of that sentence. That is concerning to me. One of the processes that we're undergoing with this review that's being done by the Department of Justice is our investigation process. And what is it that we need to do to strengthen that? And part of that is the new training that will take place, the new screening that needs to take place for folks who are in those particular units. And I think that you'll see the change as we continue to move forward, because we realize that there have been some weaknesses, but at the same time that we know that with the quality of the officers that are serving the citizens of Baltimore, that we can get there. And let me just remind you all that we now have 176 individuals who are now in the pipeline to become police officers in Baltimore City. That is more than, and that's a headline, by the way. That's a headline, by the way. That's a headline, by the way. More than since 2004. 2004. And I have said that we will fill every position, but policing alone doesn't solve the violence that's on our streets. And we are meeting every other week with a group of individuals who are down on the ground, who I believe are in touch with things that are going on in the community. And you'll hear in probably another few weeks about an effort that I'm working with my Call to Action group on, and that's going out and knocking on doors and ascertaining from people in the community what is it that they need. Shantae, who is a mediator, has performed that training. If you've not gone through the training, I've gone through the training. It's a 3-hour training, how to approach people, how to interact with neighbors. So we're going to be walking the streets of the city of Baltimore, talking with people in our neighborhoods, in our communities. And that begins in the next few weeks, and we'll probably tell you a little bit more about that next week. Again, I continue to say I don't do this work by myself. I don't have to stand in front of every action that takes place. I support the positive actions of moving the city forward. I'm working with over 400 people across the city who have chosen pathways in terms of how they want to help the city. Those 65 individuals who laid out in front of City Hall. And what I said was, I'm not coming to a resolution that just throws them away. That's not what we want to do. And so we're working with them to get these folks up and moving better in society. 5 of them, we've already gotten places for them to live. There are a group of folks in there who go to work every day. So we've got a lot of work to do in the city, but what I don't want is people laying on the streets of our city. That's a lot of work, 3,000 people who are homeless. And I'm focused on how we create homes for the homeless. You all got a meeting I got to get to. Thank you all. Surely.
The governor kind of.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm reading up on that. Jane, I don't know all the particulars of that. I'm sure that even in that there's some discretion, but I'm really focused on repeat offenders at this point. Thank you all.
Thank you.